So this unit was focused on inequality, and the picture that I picked to talk about is the first one in the photo series. I guess the title is Posh Girl's Homeless Man, and I actually commented on this slide in the unit because this picture actually stood out to me the most in the series because I think that this is something that I experienced firsthand growing up just because that was the kind of privilege that I had, is having the luxury of dressing up and walking past homeless people on the street and feeling really ashamed because I didn't know what to do with that. I think there's a lot of shame and guilt that can be associated with kind of that reality, and it's something that's really hard to grapple with because you don't know if you should be feeling guilty or if you should be doing something more than what you're already doing. You don't know if you should look at them or not look at them. And these were just like the simple but perplexing thoughts I had growing up. And I think a quote that really kind of encapsulates the concept of this photo well, I guess, is by Deaton, the one that says inequality is often a consequence of progress. Not everyone gets rich at the same time, which is something that's hard to deal with. But if you think about the Industrial Revolution and how that progressed so many countries, but at the same time so many countries fell behind, there is inequality being a consequence of progress. And that's not to say that progress is a bad thing, because progress is a good thing, but I think there's something to be said about acknowledging the realities of inequality. I saw an article on Facebook a few months ago, and the title kind of like made my breath get caught in my throat. It says, when you're accustomed to privilege, equality feels like oppression. And I think that it's a very true statement, and it makes a lot of sense because privilege is something that people tend to want to hold on to because it's something that they're used to, it's what they're comfortable with, and equality, or pushing for equality, isn't something that's just going to spontaneously combust. I think it takes sacrifices, and it takes compassion and empathy. And so I guess that kind of brings me to the topic of like, so what do you do with your privilege, or how do you grapple with inequality, specifically with that first photo, like different socioeconomic statuses, like how do you take that and act justly and humanely, in a way that makes sense? And the only thing that I can really think of is don't hold on to your privilege so tightly, because it's not the most important thing. And I don't really know what that would look like manifested, but I know that, like I said, like equality, when you're accustomed to privilege, equality feels like oppression. So maybe it's something that we need to, as a society, just place less of a value on, and realize that we, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Just realize that it's okay to make sacrifices for the betterment of other people. Because I think in like America especially, we live in a very individualistic society, and we value independence, and we place a lot of stress on the individual wants and needs and desires. And I think less of an emphasis is placed on the operation of our society as a whole. I saw an article on TED's website about a week ago, and it was talking about the difference in countries and how Americans tend to be very individualistic in their approaches to making decisions. So instead of thinking about like their family or their society, they want to do what's best for them, which isn't always a bad thing. But then you look at other different societies, like several in Asia, and they make decisions for the benefit of their family or for the benefit of their community. And I think that those are things that would serve us well to do more. But yeah, that's my 2 cents. Thanks for listening.